Let's talk about sadness and depression today. Everyone's felt sadness. You felt sadness, right? And but everyone has not felt depression. So let's talk about the differences. Not so much the differences, but we're going to really talk about signs of depression that you may not have known were part of depression. Because everyone has felt sadness. Sadness is a part of our emotions, just like happiness is and joy. We're gonna have some sadness, but sadness is not something that debilitates us. Even though it's something that we do not like to feel, it's not a debilitating factor in our life. But depression can be. So I want to talk about signs of depression, and some of those signs that you may not have recognized are actually depression or a part of depression. I remember being younger and actually dealing with depression, but at the time I didn't know that that was what it was, so I never did anything directly about it. And that is why I want to talk about this today, because if you have awareness and you know better, then you can do better. And so when we talk about depression, the first thing that I want to mention when it comes to depression is that it is something that is impacting your ability to function in some way. It's limiting how you function. You're not functioning as well as you could. And a lot of times, this is what causes people to seek out help because they know something isn't right. They're having some kind of symptoms they may not have attributed to depression. So, the first thing is knowing that when we're talking about depression, it is impacting your wellness, your quality of life in some type of a way. Secondly, when we talk about the symptoms that I'm going to bring up, it is where you have to have had experienced these symptoms for at least 2 weeks or more for it to be truly part of what's considered depression, that you've at least been experiencing these symptoms consistently for at least 2 weeks or more. And so now I'm going to talk about some of the symptoms. The first two symptoms a person has to have had in order for it to be a part of depression. So it's not just having one of these, it's having a number of these, and I'll talk about it more because we'll talk about major depressive episodes and minor depressive episodes. We'll talk about major first. They're all part of the same thing. It's just the amount of these symptoms that you have that would make it major depressive or minor depressive. If you're dealing with a major depressive episode, you have to have had at least 5 of these symptoms that I'm mentioning, and you have to have had one of the first 2 that I'm going to mention. So the first one that has to be a part of it, one of them that has to be a part of it, or the other, is feeling depressed, which, surprise, that I guess that could be obvious. But when it comes to depression, some people, depression doesn't just directly feel like depression. For some people, this also includes feeling angry or agitated. Now, that can be a part of that feeling depressed for some people. They don't feel necessarily directly like, oh, I feel sad. They could be like, no, I feel pissed off. I'm angry. For some people, that is what it is. So it's feeling depressed, and depression can also be manifested in some people as anger. For a lot of teenagers, it comes off as irritability or anger. For many men, it does as well. Not to say it can't be sadness for a teenager or a male and that it can't be anger for a woman. But just understand that these are part of that first symptom is feeling depressed, and anger could be a part of that. Or remember, I mentioned that it has to be one of the first 2. So it's or you are feeling like you don't have interest in things that you once had interest in, or you don't get pleasure from anything, especially things that you used to enjoy doing or get pleasure from, you're not getting that. So remember, in order for this to be depression, it has to be one of these 2 things as part of the symptoms that you're having. So you either have to have feel depressed, excuse me. You have to either feel depressed, or you have to have a lack of interest or enjoyment in things that you normally would. So you're not getting any interest in anything, and you're not feeling any enjoyment. So it's one of those 2 that has to be a part of this. It doesn't have to be both, but one, at least one of the 2. In addition to these others that I mentioned. Remember, for major depression, you have to have 5 of these symptoms. So one of the 2 that I just mentioned, and these are the other ones. So the next one would be changes in your sleep pattern. So that could look like oversleeping or undersleeping. So oversleeping, which is hypersomnia, can be where you are sleeping 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours. You could just be sleeping most of your day and you still feel tired. You don't have the energy to get up and do the things that you would normally do. You feel sleepy all the time. It can also be undersleeping, which is insomnia. And insomnia can manifest in three ways. So that could be trouble falling asleep at night. It takes you a long time to fall asleep. It could be waking up throughout the night and having trouble falling back to sleep, or continuously waking up during the night where this is impacting your quality of sleep. Or it could be waking very early in the morning and not being able to go back to sleep. So insomnia or hypersomnia is another one of those symptoms that could be a part of depression. There can be changes in your appetite, changes in your eating pattern, and this could be overeating or undereating. If you're having significant weight loss or undereating, that could be part of it, or you could be having weight gain or increased appetite. Some people have both. Some people have days where they eat everything, and then other days where they have absolutely no appetite. So that's another one. Number 4, that is changes in your appetite. There could be changes in your energy level where you don't have the motivation to do things, and it's hard to get things done throughout the course of your day. It's hard to feel accomplished or productive because your energy levels are really impacted. I think we're on number 5, and that can be with your ability to concentrate and focus. And I know a lot of people I've seen in practice feel like they may have attention deficit disorder because they can't focus or concentrate. But there are a number of mental health issues that can cause inability to focus and concentrate, and depression is one of them. And then there's also psychomotor slowness. It's moving slow, it's thinking slow, not quick to respond or as swift as maybe you would have in the past. You're noticing this slowness to how you're responding to things. So that psychomotor slowness, psychomotor symptoms can be part of depression. It can be feelings of hopelessness or guilt. A lot of people deal with guilt, that emotion it doesn't do anything but cause us more suffering. But it really can be a part of many people's experience, feeling guilty, hard to forgive yourself for things in the past. And it can be feeling like you're really worthless, or you feeling hopeless, that things just won't get better, and asking yourself, will things ever get better for me? Hopelessness is a big part of many people's experience. Feeling suicidal, I definitely want to mention that. Definitely, if you're feeling that, you want to get help immediately. But this could be having thoughts of directly of wanting to hurt yourself and having a plan. But it can also be those passive thoughts of, I wouldn't kill myself, I wouldn't hurt myself, but if I wasn't here, I wouldn't mind. Or if I got into this car accident and I didn't make it, I'd be okay. It could be anywhere on that spectrum. I want to make sure I didn't miss any of them. So we mentioned depression, feeling depressed. And remember, depressed can look like anger. It's also not having an enjoyment in things that you normally did, or interest in things. It's the change in your appetite, it's changing your sleep pattern, changing your energy levels, changing your ability to focus or concentrate, guilt. Okay, we got them all. And remembering that you would have to have 5 of these for major depression, including one of the first ones, for it to be a major depressive episode that you've experienced for at least 2 weeks, and that it is causing an impact in the way that you are functioning. Your well-being is impacted. And if it's a minor depressive episode, it's 2 to 4 of those symptoms, including one of the first ones. Again, it also has to have been for a 2-week period of time. And understanding that, I want to mention one more thing. I want to go back to when we're talking about low energy levels. This can look more than, I mean, it can be just feeling, it can be feeling tired and not having energy, but it can also be to the degree that you're not able to care for yourself well, like those basic care needs, that getting up and showering, brushing your teeth, washing your face, combing your hair, making yourself a meal. Like these things are hard to do. So these are all of the factors. There can be other things that can contribute to some of these, like sleep can be impacted by a number of things as well. But it's important, if you're concerned and having some of these, to seek out a medical professional so that they can assess you further and truly get a full history, to get a true understanding of what is going on. And when I see patients, this is something that I really like to talk to people about, not just patients, but people, is that wholeness of who we are, making sure that we start to work on these parts. And depending on where a person is, if they're dealing with depression, they may not initially even have the energy to try some of these things. And sometimes that's where medication can be helpful for some people, just to get them to a point where they have the energy to do the things that maybe they can do holistically. But for people who do have that energy and the ability to do it, keeping in mind that part of us, our spirit, that is so important for us to nurture. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about our spirit and doing spiritual practices, whatever they may be for you, that really gets you in touch with spirit and a larger meaning of life. And then when we're talking about our mind, really learning how to use our mind to our own benefit. And oftentimes therapy or other healing modalities can help people work with their mind, their mindset, the way they use their mind, using our mind as a tool, because it can be a tool for us. And then the physical part of us, our physical well-being, the exercise that we can do that increases the chemicals in our body that help us to feel well. The stretching that we might do, the getting outside in the sunlight and nature. It's the things that we consume, even the things that we're listening to. If we're listening to things that are talking about depressed and sad things, it's going to make us think more on those things. So putting joy and high vibrational things that you listen to, music, podcasts, whatever it is. I really like to talk to people about the foods that we eat and getting high vibrational foods to my green drink. And the high vibrational foods are, to me, these are foods that in order for them to grow and get their nourishment, they need the sunlight for that. I'm not always on top of all the things I talk about, because we can all fall off. And that's where we give ourselves grace, so we get back up and we continue on. And a lot of times we get stronger as we do that. But whenever I get back focused and I drink a green juice, it always perks me up more. It always gives me a bit more oomph in my day and in my experience. Other plants do this for me too. Other herbs can be really beneficial and, really helping our bodies to act in agreement and in harmony. And we want to bring harmony to our mind, body, and spirit. Because if we strengthen these parts of us, then we can look and see how much more this impacts our overall well-being, including our mental health. So that is what I'm sharing with you today. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. I'll give you a moment. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel, and share this video with someone who you think it may benefit. I will be posting another video next week, as I will post one new video a week. All right. Thank you for staying and watching with me and listening. I hope this was helpful. Please leave a comment in the comment section if there's anything you want to share. All right. I will see you on the next video. Bye.